Glad to have you back. And now on to the next topic. Key players in the aviation sector say for the industry to grow in the country, it needs the sum of $50 billion. Now that's about 15.3 trillion naira.
Now this amount, according to experts, will put the sector in a competitive position and explore opportunities provided by Nigeria's growing population.
Well, aviation experts who have openly commented on the issue of the country's underperforming aviation industry say the sum will help close the infrastructure gap. Now, they have expressed worry that the growth of the aviation industry could be stifled by the failure of the banking sector to extend special lending facilities to the aviation sector, which needs huge capital for investments.
All right, we have the General Secretary, Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, joining us right now, Abdul Razak Saidu, in the studio. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
And now, the aviation sector is one major sector that people have been looking up to, but there has been much complaints as to the performances from the aviation sector. Now, in the past few years, it's been up and down, but we've not heard recently any much issues from the aviation industry. How is it performing in the last few months, especially now that Nigeria is technically out of recession?
Well, thank you very much. I was listening to you, your introduction into this program, and I became worried because in the past, as you have said, government will provide intervention fund. A single person will hijack it to another business. So that airline went down. I don't want to mention name right now. So government is continuous. But we have seen that any government or administration, they would like to bring a policy that will dismantle the former one. No amount of money that will yield any fruitful, meaningful development if the administration, the people, the managers of the industry are not professionals. Because, you know, there are a lot of this issue of political interference. People who never knew about aviation business, they will put them as managers to supervise the industry. So the people who are professionals, who are crooks within the system, we capitalize on that system, and that's why it doesn't work. Well, let me tell you, very recently, we just had some people who went to the vice president to misadvise vice president, and vice president announced at the business forum that Nigeria will concession this airport, that airport, this airport. To that level, then we became worried. Particularly myself, I became worried. I said, well, these people are at it again. During the time, the previous administration that dismantled aviation, dismantled bastardized aviation, is the same people that now try to recycle themselves. We are not going to agree on this. So when we saw this, then the labor unions will try to package a lot of things, a lot of pressure, in order to prevent and to let them speak. If it is truly Federal Executive Council approved that, or it is a way of misleading, in order, call the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob. So on the 18th, we were able to meet the Minister of Labor because of the threat, the mobilization we are making, in order to see the facts. But we saw the facts yesterday when we appeared, yesterday 25th, we appeared before the Joint Committee on Aviation of both the Senate and House of Rep, all the labor and the stakeholders. We were able to let them know that all is not well. If they leave this thing like this in the hands of these people without really coming out for us to know what do you want to concession. Is it the wrong way? Is it the aeronautical aspect of it or non-aeronautical aspect of it? Because non-aeronautical aspect of it is being controlled by fund. And currently, from the past, they've used political fiat decision policy to put single people business to be collecting the federal government resources. Whereas we have a lot of staff of commercial and account in fund that are many that are really employed to do that job. Okay. Then why giving government resources, cash, to an individual, and when they collect this cash, they don't pay. They both away with it, and nothing was done. So, and you are saying you want to see concession. So you should tell us, is it the sky they want to concession or the building? All right,
let me come in at this point, really. Before this announcement by the Vice President, yes. The aviation industry, of course, had been struggling and still struggling to this point, really. Many airlines have shut down, packed up, really. So, yes, the concessioning, many have said that is the way to go because the government cannot handle all projects in the country. But yes, that's the question they are asking. What part of the airports do they want to concession to private hands? But that aside, many are worried really that it's not just now, but in the past, that aviation matters in the country are always shrouded in secrecy, that transparency is far from it. Why is that? Tell us the inner workings, really.
Yes, it is this issue of corruption. When you don't put round peg in a round hole to manage this type of thing. So it is, for example, the ICAO said the regulatory body must be autonomous. We fought. Because of BASA fund, they don't want to release NCA as an autonomous so that they can monitor and regulate the industry properly. So immediately they pass administration and still continue. They refuse to appoint governing board of directors to all these parastatals so that the government can have the direct assets in changing a lot of things, which has brought confusion right now. So therefore, every one of them, they are trying to capitalize to outfit one another. You see, when you will hear a directive from the presidency, it will be countered by the ministry. Because there is no board of listen. There's more time again, you will see that the management self, they are scattered. They are not united. So the workers are watching all this. These are things that contributed to us that we are asking, what is the concession? Is it the building? Is it the aeronautical aspect of it? Yeah, because it is NAMA.
So tell us now.
You see, they have not been able to come out with it because they don't know what they are doing.
Yeah,
they just went into the air. They just went into the air and announced that they want concession.
The point there is, as it is now, government, from what you have said, government has not told you what they want to concession. But from your own advice, you are in the industry. Yes. What can be concessioned and what cannot be concessioned?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, airport cannot be concession, particularly those for airport, because airport is the fastest and the easiest way of attacking a country by external enemy. And you cannot unforeseen external enemy like this agitation that are going, and the world security challenges. That is number 1 point that they must think about. Number 2, we have land. Why can't those people that are misleading them as they misled the former president Olusegun Obasanjo to wrongly liquidate Nigeria Airways? It is the same people that are still there. So we are not going to allow it to affect our collective,
what can be concessioned?
What can be concessioned is give them the land, let them go and build their own airport. The states did it. When they tried it for about 2 years, they cannot. They have to hand it over to FAN. So there is law that establishes FAN, and their duty allow them to run it. They will not allow them to run it. Each time they will be changing management up and down. So that is the problem.
If I get you correctly, it means that airports, nothing should be concessioned.
Nothing. Let them tell us now.
But we know the reason is this, across the world, excuse me. All the greatest airports in the world that are performing, that we make references to across the world, most of them are concessioned. They are all in private hands and monitored by government.
But Nigeria has not got to 50% of the achievement, development of those countries.
Yes, and that is why they want to concession, so that they function.
Okay, tell me now. You tell me concession, boycott me. That is MM2. For the past 10 years, he has not paid anything. And it is one that maintains the runway, the taxiway, the apron way, to that building. We are asking you, is it the building? Where is the agreement?
We understand it's the fear. It's the fear of the Bicotney concession project that's making you say all this. But
that's one, number one. Number two is that the concession they give, the financial concession they give to the people we want to, like IATA, it is the duty of the farm. Like they gave it to IATA, landing and parking and this and that. Then they gave after toll gate, car park and all these billboards. The whole revenue.
Many are suggesting
and when they collect this money, they don't pay. Then nobody was punished. Well, what is the job of the commercial staff that fund is having? Fund is having over 6,000 workers, over 4,000 retirees, and you say you want to concession. To whom? To whom you want to concession?
Comrade, let's make a simple conjecture. Let's just do a simple analysis.
Yes,
up until now, farm workers, all aviation workers are complaining that they are not treated well. Many have been forced to retire and all that. And yet the aviation sector is crawling. Yeah. That is where we are. And then the government is saying that it wants to concession. It wants to move it from not making money from all the troubles it's having to where it could compete at least with some African airlines like that of South Africa, Kenya, and all those countries. So which would you prefer, really? A struggling aviation sector that is still blocked by many problems, or an improving one that many could thrive and even promote the country's aviation sector?
Thank you. Unless the government borrow leave from Ethiopian government and that South African government in running and keeping moving of the airline. But our own is different. We said we are running executive government, executive president's government, like America. Are we practicing the system like America? So it is the corruption, the corrupt tendencies that are still striving, continuous one from the former administration persists. So tell me, if government puts millions and one person siphon it, thinking that he's going to revamp Air Nigeria, the money go to wing and fly away to another country, and that person is not punished?
Okay, but
and that there is money in fund. They are the ones spending that money.
Well, that is one aspect.
Fund will not borrow money. Federal government will go and borrow money, and they will force it on fund that they should be paying that money. $500 million. A lot of money are there, but they want to use this concession to cover that debt. Fund, there are debtors to fund. Okay. They want to use it like they did to Nigerian Airways. Nobody is telling us that these are the people that are owing Nigerian Airways, and people who are owing Nigerian Airways, travel agencies, and so on and so forth. Okay. Look at the place Nigerian Airways were there. They are supposed to be paying rent to fund. They don't pay. Okay, comrade, for the past 13 years. Yes.
Okay, let's look at another issue so that we don't just label this one. There is this understanding while doing the research that local airlines in Nigeria have to go outside the country to maintain their fleet of airlines, that the country, Nigeria, doesn't even have MRO, that they have to spend as much as $2 million in about 18 months to service airlines. And that is one of the problems they are having. That how can a country as big as Nigeria not have its own maintenance facility? Talk to us about that.
Very good. Thank you very much. It's very vital. We have been shouting about this national hunger. But they don't want to look into that area. They prefer to extort money for their own personal use. People in the corridor of power. But we said, okay, if that is the case, why should Nigeria be ferrying their aircraft to Ethiopia to go and do either sea Shaky or so? Now, the airlines, they call themselves Airline Operators of Nigeria. Are they employers? If they register as Employers Association, it will be very, very meaningful for us to be able to fight for them. But individuals are having bad financial management, mismanagement of funds, mismanagement. They don't have professional know-how to run the airline. That is why they went on ground. Each time they make the money, they diverted the money to another place. You can go and find out. So it doesn't give us the zeal to fight for them, because when you fight for them and government listens to them, the gain from that government intervention will be diverted to personal something. Look at Arik. Why Amcon went to take over? You will be sorry if you have friends in Arik, working in Arik. They will tell you the fact. Look, so therefore, the issue of national carrier must have to come the anger of Nigeria is there under Arik. The hunger. We said, okay, carve out that hunger, make it, or go and build, very big national hunger. We have qualified professionals that can be conducting this check. They didn't list. What they're listing is how I want to own my own airline. How this one want to own my own airline. And when they operate for about 2-3 years, they went down. Because one, NCAA is never allowed to be strict. You can never, the law is there, you can never be given license to run an airline without having number of some aircrafts. But here, if you look at this now, there are some airlines that are having 1, 2. I experienced one thing yesterday. I'm telling you, the delay was 2.5 hours, 3 hours, and they will not tell you, they will be telling you operational reason. When they come, they will lie to you. And nothing is done. And it is NCAA duty to call them to order. It has been very long. Then again, you see airlines just jumping their flight. The moment they see people rushing, they make it like a motor park. They will jump their flight, their ticket by 50%, 60%. And it is NCAA that's supposed to control that. They don't control that.
All right, comrade.
So those are those things that, that we wanted, if we want to move forward. They should allow NCAA to perform and put round peg into round hole. All
right, comrade, we have to round off shortly. But let me ask you this. A lot of analysts we have spoken to and even heard about have said that union activities within the aviation sector are hampering the progress of the aviation sector. A lot of them are very redundant. A lot of them, they're self-centered people. A lot of them are very, some have even used the word greedy, as the case may be. How would you react to this? Because we see that unionists or unions within the aviation sector, sometimes because they don't want a certain thing in a certain way, so they said, no, we will not accept, and all of that.
Thank you very much. They may be right in their own perspective, but in our own perspective as ANAP that we just came up, you see, camera can cover this. This is our invitation. So that is yesterday we submitted it. We are not part of those people that will say, isolated, then the background you put something in your pocket. They may be right. They are seeing it. The workers are seeing it. They know who is there to move the industry forward and to improve their welfare. But there's one thing I want to tell you. You see, when you just wake up, you saw a list of about 200 and be detecting that those 200 will be within the management, middle management and management sector from the ministry. And the chief executive must absorb them without apporting the responsibility. It has been on for long, and we shouted, they didn't, the union, we say, oh, this doesn't concern them. But now it's affecting them. They are trying to wake up. For example, they were giving that is corruption. They were giving moratorium, or what did they call it?
Moratorium.
To Dana Air, Arik Air, that they should operate for about 10 years and this and that. It's not in the labor practice. I think you get me. Then all of a sudden, when the agreement, the booty from that, giving you chance to operate for 10 years, when the worker working for that 10 years has qualified for pension, and you don't want, you as a union, you agree that yes, those people should not be unionized, and now you are now crying that they don't want your union, the workers to be unionized. Who is fooling who? The workers, they know it. So we of ANAP is for professionals and administrative cadre. And it has been so registered. For within 10 years, we forced this and we defended this, that the professionals and administrative cadre must have union in this industry in order to straighten issues, in order to remove this act of corruption, in order to remove this double standard, telling workers one thing and going back to do another thing.
So in essence, who?
So in essence,
okay, you want to make a statement?
Yes, in essence, the management of these parastatals must be washed. Because they are the one perpetuating, encouraging this. They are perpetuating division. They are perpetuating in order for them to stay fat and be doing whatever they like. And when you see a ruling class that cannot rule the way they want, and the people being governed is protested, that is revolution. That is antagonistic contradiction. It's either peaceful revolution or violent revolution. So in the aviation industry, who is anybody that is disturbing peaceful, change, my friend Oga, shall inevitably welcome violent change.
Okay.
We have told the National Assembly that we are going to mobilize our people to that MM2 when the time comes. If the agreement there is not made known to us, and if not reviewed, single person can never be milking this country without paying cover. It's not done.
All right.
It's corruption.
Okay. We leave that for next time to dwell on. And certainly the government will tell us whether the concessionaires are paying actually, or they're not remitting what they're supposed to. Comrade Abdulrazak Saidu, Secretary General Association of Nigeria Aviation Professionals, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
very much.
I'm very happy because this program comes.
Thank you, Comrade. Thank you, Comrade.
Thanks.
All right, it's time for the news update, and after then it will be time for sports. And when we come back again, we'll be talking about addressing marginalization in the southeast part of Nigeria, as well as the Kenyan presidential election that is ongoing right now. Still with us on TVC Breakfast.